千里之行，始于足下. A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. So, the name of the story, I've tentatively titled it Crossing the Creek. Once upon a time in ancient China, there was a monk who went deep into the wilderness, seeking solitude. He found a cave that could shelter him from the elements, and he learned how to live off the land. So he started living in that cave in order to devote himself to the sutras and meditation. After 10 years of this intensive practice, he felt ready for the next phase of his plan. So he thought, finally, through hard work and determination, I have attained enlightenment. Now I'm ready at long last. I can return to civilization and teach the world this precious knowledge that I have perfected. So the next day, he gathered up his minimal belongings and left his cave. He walked through the forest in the general direction toward the towns and villages, which were still quite far away. He came to a shallow creek. He looked around and he found a place where a large tree had fallen directly across the creek. And this gave him an easy way to walk over to the other side. So he started walking. He was partway across when he saw that there was a villager coming toward him. The villager was carrying a heavy bag and also walking on the makeshift bridge that was the trunk of the fallen tree, which was only big enough for one person. So the monk gestured for the villager to back off, back away, let him cross first. So he is waving at the villager, back off, let me cross. But the villager just looked at him with no comprehension whatsoever and kept coming. So the two of them met in the middle of the creek, on the tree trunk, and had to stop because it was only big enough for one person. So now they had to awkwardly, carefully, slowly try to get around each other in order to continue on their way in opposite directions. In that process of trying to get around each other, the villager stumbled and inadvertently swung his heavy bag around, which slammed into the monk, causing him to lose his footing and fall off the log. Now, the creek was shallow, so the monk was not in danger of drowning, but he ended up knee-deep in the water, shivering in the morning cold. The villager was apologetic. "Oh, master, I'm so sorry," and extended a hand to help him up. Their clumsy struggles and movements angered the monk even more. When the monk was finally back on the tree bridge, he lashed out. The monk slapped the villager and said, "You fool! Could you not understand what I was telling you? You should have gone back to the other side so I could cross first. Are you deaf? Are you dumb?" Again, the villager apologized profusely and started going back to the other side. The monk started to follow, but then stopped himself as sudden realization dawned on him. He thought, I imagined that I had attained enlightenment But evidently, this was not the case, because just now I totally lost it. Lost my cool, lost my composure, my control. Not only that, but I lost it so quickly and so completely. So he turned around and went back the way he came. He needed to get back to the cave. Maybe after another 10 years of hard work, he will really be ready. The end. So let me ask everyone this story. What do you think about the monk? Was he right? That maybe in another 10 years, he will be ready? That is at the heart of the concept and the story. So the question was, the monk who turned around to go back the way he came, back to the cave, was he right? And perhaps I can ask everyone a similar question. Do you think that 10 more years will help the monk? Yes. Anuj, you are correct. He was not right in thinking that more time spent in a cave with sutras and meditation would make any difference. You're right, Maria. He doesn't know how to attain enlightenment. If he had enlightenment, he would have applied it differently in his interaction with the villager. Kevin, you are correct. Tim, you are absolutely right on. This is not a lesson that one can learn in seclusion. So now, everybody, I think I have doubled down on the point that I was making previously. It was just a coincidence that it happens to have this synchronicity effect with this particular story, which happens to have a connection with the overall teaching from 16 about tolerance, about 有容乃大. Yeah, so anyhow, you can tell the reasoning. You can now see the reasoning. Why the Tao sages say, it's not about being a hermit. It's really about being with other people, and cultivate through your interactions with them. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Let us travel safely. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.